Welcome everyone. So let's get straight into it. First things first, check out the God of War video. Okay, go watch that. If you are curious, on two things. Number one, if you're curious on how God of War is and how strong it is and whatever. Also, if you're curious on Curlia's moves, for example, Gallade gets these moves. And then also check that out if you're new here and you just need a little bit of an introduction. I don't want to restate that in this video as well. So again, just check that video out. It's the one right before this. You can watch the first 2.5 minutes and then you'll be back up to speed and you can watch the Gallade video if you don't care about God of War for whatever reason. So Gallade. Gallade has, is it Gallade or Gallade? I say Gallade. I used to say Gallade, but I started saying Gallade. I don't know why. Gallade, either one sounds fine to me. I think both are acceptable. But yeah, Gallade has incredible buffs here. So first things first I want to mention is that these moves are not all of the moves that Gallade gets. Gallade gets every single move that God of War gets by TM and Tutor. So all of these special moves are not good on it, obviously. The notable options that it carries over from Curlia and as Curlia basically is Laser Focus for Ruthless, Gravity Skill Swap, Trick, Taunt, Parting Shot is a big one, Dual Screens is a big one, Substitute obviously, T-Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Agility, Play Rough is a good physical move for Gallade, that kind of stuff, right? Those are moves that Gallade gets because of Curlia, so not because of Curlia, but from Curlia. But I didn't have room on this sheet to just put all those moves, so I just put the new additions. Also, Substitute should not be new. That's a move that God of War gets. Hold on, I just realized that live. Ugh, now it's not symmetrical. No. Actually, they both get everything to get impact, so. Now it's not symmetrical either, though. Fuck. Oh, they don't get. Yeah, these moves are also. God, it's still not symmetrical. This is so unfair. Why is it doing this to me? Fuck. Whatever. I'll just have to suck it up. Oh, that's really irking me, man. Oh, no. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this live, but. Oh boy. God of War technically gets sent headbutt, but it's not listed here because I technically removed it, but it's still there. Whatever. I'll just leave it for now. I'll figure it out after the video, okay? I'll figure something out. Maybe role play or something. Sure, yeah, you can get role play. That God of War can't role play, but you can. It's just a stupid post game tutor that. Yeah, I just want to make it symmetrical, so it doesn't matter, man. Nobody's ever gonna run that. That's why it's a post game. Post game tutors are mostly bad, besides Superpower and a couple others like Outrage. No, that should be plus. All right, we're good now. Sorry, everybody. That was a very sidetracking thing. So yeah, Gallade has awesome buffs here. If you're familiar with my stuff already, you already know what's going on with Proficiency and Ruthless and how good those are. But if you're new here, basically what these two abilities are, well stat-wise, it's got less special defense because it felt weird that it had the same Spit F as God of War. So I dropped the Spit F a little bit so I could also have more stat points for speed and defense because I think it should have better physical defense than God of War because it has the blades to like block itself and shit, not that much better physical defense. It's 65 as opposed to 75, and then 95 is good on Mega Gallade, but we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, Base Gallade, same attack stat, which is still great as 125. However, the abilities Proficiency and Ruthless and the incredible Movepool buffs are what's important here. And then, of course, that giant stat boost, speed boost to 110 base speed, which is much more reasonable, which is actually what Mega Gallade used to have. Now it has 120 base speed, though, just for bouncy reasons, because number one, speed tiers and attack are a lot higher. You can check those all out in the description down below. Another thing is, yes, you can check out all these changes for yourself in the description down below. But I'm assuming you probably already know that if you're here. So, yeah, 120 base speed's great. Not anything too crazy. I mean, it's just a good speed tier. Reason I made Mega Gallade stats so good is because Base Gallade actually is stronger when it uses crit moves. So, for example, Ruthless, Mega Gallade, Cross Chop, and Cycle Cut, and Cross Poison, and Jagged Edge, and all his moves that always crit actually deal more damage on Gallade than Mega Gallade, despite having 55 or 45 less physical attack than Mega Gallade. Oh, this should also be +5, excuse me. Should be +5, and then that color is correct, though, I believe. Right, should be. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, Base Gallade has better abilities. However, Mega Gallade has that giant speed boost, and then obviously 170 base attack is great with non-crit moves. So, for example, Ruthless, Cross Chop, and all that shit is very strong. These moves, Ruthless works like Sniper if you're new here. So essentially, when Gallade holds a Scope Lens, the stab moves, Cycle Cut and Cross Chop, let me also put 70 base power. Yeah, I'll put that there. the base power on these all ranges. I can actually probably technically put like what's the red shade here? A darker shade. I could probably put like 112.5 base power. Yeah, and then this can all be like, I mean, these will all vary, but I could probably do that for all the base powers here. 98, 97.5 for these ones. I'll do this after the video. I need to remind myself so I don't forget to do this. I'll just quickly finish typing this one and then we'll do the rest. Sorry, I should not be doing this live. I'm really sorry. Just sometimes get distracted and I want to finish that up. Okay, I'll put the rest in later, but this should be 375. Okay, I'm just gonna do it now. No, I'm not. I'm gonna stop. I want to do it now, but I'm not gonna. So, yeah, basically Gallade has access to Stab, Cycle Cut, Stab, Cross Poison, then it has Jagged Edge, which is Rock, access there for Bug, obviously you can see all the colors here, you know what these are, Laceration, Slash, Night Slash, Cross Poison, all those, and Leaf Blade, those are all incredible coverage moves, obviously, on top of your dual Stab of Cross Chop and Cycle Cut, all of which go from 70 base power to 157.5 base power when you consider the Scope Lens and Ruthless boost. With the crit, they're 105, but then you add that extra 50% on top of 105 for Ruthless, and it becomes 157.5 base power. Very, very, very powerful moves. Obviously, you have to hold a Scope Lens for those to be consistent, so it's not the greatest thing in the world, but sorry, it's still it's very strong. What am I trying to say? It's very strong, but it's not as strong as you might think. For example, Mega Gallade with like close combat might be stronger, or Psycho Warp. Psycho Warp is a Psychic type close combat. There's also a lot more physical, fairy, and psychic moves in attack. Tons of other awesome new shit. You can check all that stuff out in the description, but yeah, Psycho Warp is like Psychic type close combat, so he has that plus close combat or submission, which is really powerful, or takedown. All these moves are technically stronger on Mega Gallade than they are on Base Gallade. Not to mention Mega Gallade is much faster and is much bulkier than Base Gallade, and it also has good abilities in its own right. So Base Gallade has Ruthless proficiency, so Ruthless, I've already covered 50% crit moves. As for 100% crit moves, it has access to First Impression, which is just a very good TM to reteach yourself. It's very powerful. Finishing Blow is very good. Finishing Blow gives you +3 attack and is roughly 80 base power overall with a Ruthless boost. Wicked Blow at level 68 is very strong. That's 180 base power dark move overall. It also has Stone Edge via TM, which is even earlier than 68 probably, and very, very powerful. That's the same as Wicked Blow, same exact power and accuracy as Wicked Blow. And then you have Sacred Sword at level 70, which is actually a semi-exclusive move that only a few Pokemon will be getting, but that's the same power as Aeroblast, Frostbreath, and Heatwave, 65 base power, so that essentially becomes 98 base power almost. However, that always crits, so you don't need to run a Scope Lens, so it's better than Cross Chop in every way. It's the same amount of PP, but it's overall stronger because of the fact that you don't need to hold a Scope Lens with Sacred Sword. You can just run, any item, even just like a Life Orb, for example, is it's really strong. So Ruthless is incredibly powerful, and Sacred Sword on Gallade does more damage than Mega Gallade, for example. However, Mega Gallade's close combat and Cycle Warp does more damage, so you kind of have to balance your moveset that way accordingly. Not to mention that speed boost is very much appreciated. That 10 base speed might seem minor, but it's a big deal in this hack because of how crowded some of the speed tiers are going to get. That difference from 110 to 120 is a pretty big one, not to mention you're a lot bulkier. So definitely worth Mega Evolving. Not to mention when you Mega, so basically Ruthless will become Defiant when you Mega Evolve, and Defiant is a very fitting and solid ability for Gallade. This is one of the most contentious abilities in terms of what I wanted to give it. I was actually very, very torn. At one point I had Expertise and Versatility, but I felt like that was way too overpowered for how fast and strong it was. There's a lot of strong shit in this hack, but I don't know, it just felt a little bit too strong to me. Especially with like Power Up Punch and shit, I don't know, it just felt a little bit too strong, so I didn't give it Expertise or Versatility. So instead I opted to give it weaker abilities, but I give it more attack and speed. So it used to have 150 and 165, now it's 170, 120. And that makes it a lot more balanced. So basically Mega Gallade is all about the stats, the bulk and the offense and stuff. And also the abilities are great, don't get me wrong, Defiant is incredible. There's a lot more Pokemon that have access to Intimidate now in this hack, like a lot. So, Defiant is already great in that regard, not to mention all of the new stat dropping moves, which are very common now. There's also a lot of attacking moves that have either guaranteed or high chances to drop defense, Whiplash, Fire Lash, other moves also have high chances, 100% chances to drop attack or special attack or speed. You can check all those out in the description, but I'll quickly just show them on the sheets if you're too lazy to go check it out yourself. Let me scroll this off to the side. You can see here Like all of these moves, like all of these speed dropping ones, defense dropping ones, attack and special attack dropping ones, all of these moves, if Gallade gets hit by them, he'll get +2 attack. All right, it's really good. Defiant is a great ability for sure. Even though it's not competitive and there's no default to switch it on, it's still a good ability for sure. You know, it's more of an optional thing. Like, you know, you're a good mom without Defiant ever activating. Same goes for, well, Trace is incredible, actually. So basically, the way I balanced it is Defiant is arguably a better ability than Trace. However, Trace is situationally much better than Defiant. Trace is great because in this hack, you have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can easily just copy a very, very strong ability on the opponent's side. So if you switch it in at the right time, you can copy an extremely powerful ability and go to fucking town. With your stats and, you know, having access to Trace, it opens up a lot of strategy. I'm not going to repeat myself too much because I did talk about this more in the Gardevoir video, because Gardevoir also has Trace as the pre-Mega, so that's great. But yeah, the reason I balanced it that way is because Proficiency turns into Trace. So Proficiency works like Beast Boost, so it essentially will give Gallade either an attack or speed boost. So most of the time it's going to work like Moxie, okay? Because 125 base attack versus 110 speed, obviously we know which one is higher. But if you have a Jolly plus speed nature, or any plus speed nature for that matter, your speed actually is 1 point higher than your attack. So you will be guaranteed to get that speed boost, and then all you need to do, so say for example you want to run that Jolly set, but you still want the attack boost, then all you have to do is just put 244? Yeah, 244 EVs, which is easy because in this hack you have access to infinite EV training, so you can easily just instantly swap those EVs around. Now you're still getting that attack boost, although you're technically not base 110 speed anymore, you're base 109-ish, but that's only if you need that attack boost. Getting a speed boost upon Mega Evolving is even better, arguably, in some cases, so, you know, upon killing something. Why did I say Mega Evolving? Mega Gallade, obviously, if it had Proficiency, would only be able to get the attack boost because of the way its stats are spread out. Unless you were really, really weird and like ran a bulky set with no attack investment, but that's not good. So yeah, attack or speed depending on your nature. You can also say if you have a neutral nature, you can still EV yourself, so you can still get that speed boost, but you'll be kind of cutting into your attack a lot. But you could run like a Swords Dance Proficiency set with speed boosting set. For example, with a neutral speed nature, Gallade is at 319 speed, so how many EVs? 100, 120, 132. Yeah, okay, so 128. 128, so that's half almost. Actually, literally half. Yeah, so half of your attack EVs are gone. However, now you'll be getting a speed boost upon killing something. So you can actually run like a bulky set, so you can put 128 in your HP, and you're actually pretty tanky because you have 75-90 bulk, which is pretty decent. And you can use that with like King Shield and stuff. Also, yes, I did give them King Shield. I've been giving it to a couple more mons, just mons that fit. You know, like Gallade and Bisharp and mons like that. I think it fits. So, you know, Bashiodon, that kind of stuff. It's a good move, you know, very good at Gen 7. It gives -2 attack, so that's great for utility. I'll get into the Movepool in a second, I promise. I just want to talk about the abilities first. So, yeah, you can run like a Swords Dance set with the speed boosting EV spread, and you can actually get a speed boost each time you evolve, which is pretty, each time you do the kill. Why am I, Jesus, that was not English. Each time you do the fucking kill, what the hell? Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit flustered. Proficiency, Ruthless, both great abilities. Again, with infinite usability capsules, you can swap between them. Obviously, Ruthless is a lot more powerful in terms of raw damage output. However, Proficiency allows you to snowball and sweep. So, you know, you trade power for the ability to get power as you go. And you can also boost your speed stat, which is really fun and cool. That's awesome, all right? Great abilities, and I think they fit very well. Ruthless might seem kind of weird on Gallade. He doesn't seem like super ruthless or aggressive. However, if you read his dex entries, well, number one, he's a slashmon. He's all about blades, so I think ruthless no matter what fits because he gets all the blade slashing moves for the most part. But even if you think it's weird, it says right here he fights savagely. So I think that's good enough. You know, that dex entry enough is a good enough justification for ruthless. Otherwise, I would agree with you that it's kind of weird, not fitting. Trace and Defiant obviously fit. I mean, Defiant is very fitting, and then Trace is just because he's psychic type and stuff. And he has like this whole ability to like sense those in need and help them and stuff. So yeah, great abilities. So Proficiency is just because he's a swordsman and a master. That's a very fitting ability for a lot of mons. So, which is why I called it that. So yeah, that's about it. Tons of great coverage for Ruthless. All right, so that's the Ruthless stuff, and the Proficiency stuff out of the way. Trace and Defiant I also covered, so those are all the usage for the abilities. All right, great abilities. Again, I did design Mega Evolutions so that they are not always relied on, so you can always run base Gallade. In fact, in some cases it'll be better. For example, if your speed set doesn't matter, then yes, Ruthless Gallade is stronger than Mega Gallade in terms of damage output. However, it's not as bulky, and you miss out on a lot of other strong moves on Mega Gallade, like Cross Combat and Psycho Warp and all these other powerful moves that you could be running on Mega Gallade. Obviously, base Gallade can still run them with Proficiency sets, but yeah. Tons of great coverage moves, so, you know, you've got Leaf Blade, Grass Knot, Solar Blade, Jagged Edge, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Cross Poison, Poison Jab, Dual Stab, obviously, X Scissor, First Impression, Lunge, Laceration, Iron Head, Acrobatics, Blaze Kick, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. I could list it, Seismic Fist, Blaze, Sucker Punch, you know, Night Slash, Hell Thrusts, all kinds of powerful stab moves, okay? Stab moves and covered moves. It also gets good setup with Swords Dance, Bulk Up, or Meditate. Meditate is a mix of Calm Mind and Bulk Up. It gives you +1 attack and +1 special defense, which is pretty cool. What else is there? King Shield is great for utility. You have priority, Think Fast, and Mach Punch when you evolve, so that's good. Think Fast is 55 base power +2 priority psychic type move, physical. Mach Punch is just Mach Punch. Dizzy Punches is good physical psychic type stab until you get Psycho Cut at 46. Dizzy Punches hits twice, so 40 base power per hit, 80 base power overall. Before you get Zen Headbutt as well. Zen Headbutt is a tutor move, obviously, and it's 100 base power, so Zen Headbutt is 5 base power weaker than non-ruthless boosted Psycho Cut on the crit. So Zen Headbutt is stronger and more consistent than non-Scope Lens Psycho Cut, but with the Scope Lens Psycho Cut is more consistent because it's 100% accurate in exchange for losing 5 base power. However, Zen Headbutt also has that good 30% flinch rate, so it's definitely worth using if you would desire. Yeah, Finishing Blow is great. I already covered that with Ruthless. That's good with proficiency sets as well. You can get that speed boosting set, for example, the one I listed earlier. You know, a speed boosting set with Finishing Blow would be pretty fucking nuts. You know, you kill something, you get +3 attack and +1 speed with flicking Finishing Blow. That's super fun and super strong. Psycho Break is a very good physical psychic move. That's one that essentially works like Ring Out, so the base power ranges, but when they're full HP, it's 120 base power, and it always drops their defense stat by 1. So that's a good physical move. Submission's just an upgrade over close combat. Technically not an upgrade because you actually deal recoil damage as well, but it is stronger, so, you know, pick and choose between those two moves. Wicked Blow already covered, Sacred Sword already covered, so that's about it, honestly, for Gallade. I think I covered everything here. Very powerful Mon. Nothing overpowered or crazy. Again, the power levels in this attack are very high, so this is nothing special, but it's still extremely powerful and very fun to use. Lastly, I will say, you can get Gallade no matter what your gender is, so with Curlia, you either use a Fairy Gem, well, you level up with a Fighting Gem or a Fairy Gem at 36 to get Gallade or Gardevoir. Reason being, at first I had it as if it was just male-female, because that's more simple, but, you know, why not let Gallade be female? I mean, if Gardevoir can be male, why can't Gallade be female? Somebody actually at one point, way back in the day, when I had the old Sweltering Sun Google Docs, and it was like maybe a year ago or something, somebody commented on that, and I was like, you know what, they're right. I actually would like if you could get a female Gallade. I don't think anything is overly masculine about it, so, you know, I mean, yeah, it's more masculine, but Gardevoir also looks very feminine, and that can be male, so why not other way around? It's Pokemon, man, who cares? So yeah, I like being able. Also, that's from the main reason I did it is for a mechanical point of view, because you can pick which one you get versus when you get male or female. Like, imagine the pain if you're doing a Nuzlocke and you get like an adamant female Ralts. Like, that would fucking suck, you know? So now you can just pick. So depending on your nature and IVs, you can choose which one to evolve into. Say if you have really bad IVs, one way or the other, you can run the physical one or the special one. It's really that simple. So that's a very good quality of life thing as well. I think I covered everything here, honestly. Tons of great covers, tons of great setup, tons of powerful stab, tons of amazing abilities with infinite usability capsules. You're also very tanky as Mega Gallade. Not very tanky, but relatively tanky. Again, I considered a lot of different abilities. I considered Intimidate, I considered Versatility, I considered Expertise, all this kind of stuff, but I figured those were kind of overpowered. Not Intimidate, but I figured Expertise and Versatility are kind of overpowered. So I opted to give it Trace and Defiant and just give it really good stats. So I think it's a lot more fun and balanced. And I like how base Gallade is actually situationally a lot better than Mega. You know, like it's kind of an optional thing. You know, some fights you might not need that Mega boost, you might not need the speed boost, you might not need the power boost because Ruthless is actually stronger. Yeah, I'm sounding like a broken record here, so I'll leave it off here. So yeah, I hope you Gallade lovers are also satisfied. Again, check out the Gardevoir video if you are interested in what happened to Gardevoir and how I, you know, approached changing them. Feel free to leave a like and leave a comment. That would be very helpful for me if you could do that and boost the algorithm and stuff. Yeah, that's about it, honestly. Leave it up there. You can join my Discord server. Again, the link to the Google Sheets is in the description down below. Link to Discord is also in the description down below, so feel free to do both of those things if you would like. And I'm going to leave it up there. Goodbye, and thank you for listening, everybody.